was certainly a chaotic scene up in New York City in that court in Lower Manhattan. I think Donald Trump was certainly using, or at least trying to use, the courtroom as a bit of a campaign stop, accusing Attorney General of New York, Letitia James, and the judge and many of the prosecutors of being biased against him, of being Democrats, and repeatedly invoked other political topics during this testimony that he was supposed to take part in. At one point, Donald Trump even sparred with the judge. So it wasn't, I would say, that productive in terms of testimony from the former president, but it goes to show how the president has, or the former president has, viewed a lot of these court appearances. And, it gives a peek into what we could expect to see next year when we see the 4 other trials he's facing. Someone who's very much trying to turn this into a political circus as he runs for president of the United States.
Well, how convincing do you think he was in his argument that this case brought against him is politically motivated? What's the public's reaction, and could it even boost his support base?
Donald Trump, in terms of American voters, your mind is already made up. So for his own supporters, they view him as a martyr, someone who is unfairly targeted by the political system in the United States. And, there is some, I guess, some things you could point to that could support that. In 2018, we do know that Letitia James, when she was campaigning for Attorney General, which is a political position, she talked about wanting to prosecute Donald Trump. We see that the Trump team has certainly used that to their advantage in trying to paint her as biased against him. However, at the same time, though, there are legitimate questions about how the Trump organization inflated their assets and sort of made Trump's business out to be more valuable than it actually was. And that's what the gist of this case is. Now, this is a civil case. There would be financial penalties, no prison time or any criminal penalties that he would face. But there are criminal trials that he is facing next year. So the stakes in many ways will be higher.
Well, as you say, it's not a criminal trial. It won't land Donald Trump in jail. But how hard could it possibly hit him where his finances and businesses are concerned?
Yeah, it could absolutely hit him very hard. And I would argue that it's already hit him hard. Remember, this is about the Trump organization, the Trump brand. And, I think before Donald Trump entered politics, I think that brand was probably viewed quite a bit more favorably and obviously wasn't viewed as divisively as it is now. But if he is found liable, if there are members of the Trump organization that are found liable, this could result in a loss of millions of dollars, which could obviously impact, that organization and that organization's financial strength. That will make it difficult for the former president as a businessman.
And his daughter, Ivanka, will testify next. What could come out of her court appearance?
Look, Ivanka Trump is an interesting character in this. Unlike Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump, she has not been involved in the Trump organization to the level they were. During the Trump administration, we saw that Donald Trump and Eric Trump, while they campaigned with their father and they were politically active, they weren't involved in the White House itself and in policy making. Ivanka Trump, on the other hand, was. Eric and Donald Trump went and essentially took the helms of the Trump organization, the Trump business. But Ivanka Trump and her husband, Jared Kushner, were very much involved in the policy-making apparatus at the White House. So she's going to be viewed as someone who has a very unique perspective, someone who maybe wasn't on the inside on an official basis like Donald Trump Jr. or Eric Trump, but someone who obviously has quite a bit of ties to the Trump organization as Trump's daughter and someone who in the past has worked with the Trump organization.
And Julia, finally, how soon do you think we'll hear what the outcome is of this case? And also, you mentioned all those other cases Donald Trump is facing. When might we find out more about what's going on with those?
Yeah, look, in terms of this case, it could be weeks to months. We'll have to see. It does seem like this is progressing pretty quickly. I think it's in the interest of the state of New York and Attorney General Letitia James to get this done as soon as possible. However, with those other cases, we're going to start seeing trial dates as early as the spring here in the U.S. in March, and that's going to start to literally be a crash course with the primary calendar when President Trump is on the ballot. Now, if this were any other politician, you would think a politician facing this many legal issues would have to drop out. However, for Donald Trump, it seems like it's in a way helping him with his base. And there was actually quite a bit of polling out yesterday in swing states, head-to-head polling between him and Joe Biden that showed Donald Trump up ahead. So that's something to keep in mind.
Fascinating stuff. Julia Manchester, always great to talk. Thank you.